Hey, what's up, everyone? I figured I'd get a chance to discuss the original Friday the 13th from 1980, which I can't believe is already 40 years old. I'm like, where does the time go when it comes to all these, horror movies? Basically, the whole premise, for those already familiar with it, it deals with Camp Crystal Lake, which, ends up getting the name Camp Blood after the deaths of like two camp counselors, who were mysteriously killed because of, Jason's drowning a year earlier in 1957. And, you know, of course, the story follows, you know, a new group, Alice, Steve Hardy and a whole, Brenda and Annie and a few others, who who like new counselors at Camp Blood, and of course, you know, despite warnings from the town residents about Camp Crystal's, reputation as Camp Blood and all that, they try to reopen the camp, and of course, you know, the, the Camp Blood myth, comes true, especially like, when the camp counselors are killed off, one by one until Alice is the only one left standing. And I mean, well, I will admit, Friday, the 13th, it's, how would you say, it's not my favorite, not the worst, but it's watchable. I mean, maybe because it kind of felt like, maybe like, say, a little generic, I guess, if that makes sense. Even though, like, say, Betsy Palmer plays Jason's mother, Pamela Voorhees, does a good job of, portraying, the role of a grieving mother who's, I guess, trying to avenge her so-called son's, death and driven by psychosis and things like that. And the interesting part about it that she doesn't appear on screen until like the last 20 minutes of the movie, which is like an hour and 15 minutes, into it, even though she gets like top billing because, I guess because Betsy Palmer was a well-known actress and a veteran and all that. So, like I said, I mean, and what makes it good, I mean, before it went like over the top with its campiness, like in the later sequels, that, like I said, I wouldn't say scary, but in a sense it was for its time. What else could I say about it? Of course, this was also has Kevin Bacon in the movie. In one of his earlier, roles at the time, being like 22 years old. And, he played one of the counselors, Jack. So I figured that's a little interesting trivia to bring along. And of course, the movie was made for 550,000, which was pretty, low, but for a low budget horror movie. But even after 40 years later, it's developed quite a fascinating cult icon status, if you could say. So that's pretty much all I have to say about Friday the 13th. So, all right, everyone, take care, and I look forward to sharing my thoughts on whatever, I guess, film I decide to talk about next. All right, thanks again.